What's going on, people? It's your boy Marvlat, and this is Nerds in the Hood. I just wanted to talk to y'all real quick because, like I've been saying, you've seen some of the videos I've made. We've started this show almost 4 years ago, and we've been moving and just talking to, different people all the time. And people always wonder, like, what was the point of your show? Like, what were you trying to do? What were you trying to establish and get out there? What was the message? So I wanted to just briefly just bring up why this show was made and what we were aiming to do and what we still are aiming to do. Because the job's not finished, in the words of the late great Kobe Bryant. The job's not finished. So, excuse me. Basically, I'm a nerd. You see, I got the anime shirt on, got the Gravity Falls Disney shirt on. You know what I mean? I'm a nerd through and through. I'm not a hardcore nerd. I don't know everything about everything. I'm not out here knowing. I can't quote you a famous comic book quote. I can't do stuff like that. I haven't seen every anime. But I've grew up watching anime, playing video games, while most people was out trying to shoot hoops, trying to get a record deal, play some type of sport, sing some type of song. I was just focusing on, like, what video game did I want to beat next? What was the hottest game to play? What was the hottest anime to watch? What was the dopest movie to watch? What was a fire Nicktoon? What was better, Nicktoons or cartoons? But in my neck of the woods, I'm from the Bronx. That's in New York. It was very taboo to be a nerd. It wasn't that it was outlawed, but it was just you got clowned for certain things like that. You couldn't really go around and talk about who do you think is Ash Ketchum's strongest Pokemon in his lineup. A lot of people say Charizard. I'm going to go on a limb and say, in some ways, just hear me out, Lucario and Great Ninja do have a fighting argument. But anyway, different argument. But a lot of people, they do always have those conversations. And those conversations are when I was younger, somebody saw you sitting in your lunch table talking about that, you was getting laughed at. They saw you had the link cables connected trying to trade Pokemon, you got laughed at. They saw you trying to speak Japanese from an anime that you was watching the subs. You definitely got laughed at. And you shouldn't have, but you did. It's just part of living in the hood. You got laughed at. You was called lame. You was called a nerd. Sometimes it was even meaner than that. And I knew all those things. I love Sailor Moon. But I love Sailor Moon because it was just a fire anime. But you couldn't tell your boys that. You could not. So growing up, it was very taboo to be caught, like, reading comic books, playing certain video games that wasn't Madden or Live or GoldenEye or Halo, just to name a few. You couldn't really do those things. You couldn't be caught walking out of Digimon the movie. You couldn't. And yes, I'm telling you things that actually happened to me. But as time progressed and I got older, I started to see a very, very strong change in people as time progressed. Everybody is doing things that I was doing when I was a kid. People were playing Pokemon Go was one of the biggest games of the 2010s. Comic book movies are so in right now. Not even comic book movies, comic book TV shows. When you add in Invincible and The Boys, and Harley Quinn and, all of those shows. So comic book shows, comic book movies are so in right now. Adaptations from books, not just any books, like Harry Potter, what's George, the House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, all of those things. All of those things is fire. They're so acceptable now. It's so cool to talk about it freely. And a part of me, I ain't gonna front, I was a little salty because I was like, yo, ain't nobody out here getting clowned for this. I was getting clowned for this. But I realized that old heads like myself, some of my best friends, a lot of those people that grew up in the 90s, grew up in the 80s, grew up in the early 2000s even, we had to set that tone. We had to be the ones to help make the change for those things to come. You know what I mean? Because by the time all of us was grown up, Iron Man came out, changed the whole game. The Dark Knight came out, changed the whole game. everybody wanted to see comic book films even more than they did before, when like X-Men and Fantastic Four, like when Marvel had that run where they were just throwing out movies, and outside of like Spider-Man and X-Men 2, it was just like a lot of just duds. See, we went through that, and now everybody hyped. They got the Black Panther, they got the Endgame, they got the Spider-Man No Way Home. So we want to talk now. Now that it is so free to be a nerd, I don't just want to talk about what I went through when I was a nerd in the hood. I just want to make it known that I was a nerd in the hood, and this is what we're doing. We just having fun now. Now that we know we can have fun, now we know we can come outside and play, and it's safe to come outside and play. We gonna play. We gonna talk. We gonna have some fun. I'm gonna try to get back on Twitch and play my video games again for y'all. I like to do anime video games, but I know there's a lot of other games everybody's trying to rock. But I just want to get back to that. So Nerds in the Hood is all about just having fun and being comfortable with it. Being comfortable with the fact that it's okay to be a nerd now. It's not even a bad word anymore. It's a really cool word. Like, if I look it up right now in the dictionary of what a nerd is, I wish I could use Siri's voice, but I don't want to get in no trouble. So a nerd is a person who is extremely enthusiastic and knowledgeable about a particular subject, especially one of specialist or niche interest. So basically, that's not even really a bad word. I've never looked up this word. Like, I'm not making this up. I've never looked up this word until I decided to do this video. All this time I've been doing this podcast, I have never looked up this word. So, long story short, a nerd is just a person who's hype about something. It could be literally anything. So we were all nerds. If you were really hype about basketball, you was a nerd. Huh. Kind of makes you really mad about that when you think about it. Like, you really think about, like, all this time he was calling me a nerd and they were complimenting me. They weren't in the hood. That was a term of offense. That was an offensive term. And you find out years later, they were accidentally giving you a term of endearment. That's crazy. Oh, I'm about to go insane right now. So look at that. See, this is a show that really is called Extremely Enthusiastic People in the Hood. That's what I really should have called this show. No, but seriously, like, all jokes aside, it's cool to be enthusiastic about something you love. Don't let anybody take that away from you. Whatever you hype about, anime, reality shows, sports, we're going to try to talk about as much as we can. I don't know everything, but whatever I like, I'm gonna express it, and I hope you like it too, or I hope you get to like it because you heard me like it. And that's how it should always be. If I'm gonna put you on to something, hey, write in the comments, put me on to something. But make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Let people know Nerds in the Hood, we out here, we making moves. And this is only, once again, just the beginning. So that is basically my origin story, my prequel to Nerds in the Hood, Marv in the Hood. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted y'all to know what my end game was from this. Just to have fun and make this a movement where we could just, like, freely just talk about whatever. And nobody will give us any crap about it. Ever. So, as usual, follow us on all social media at Nerds in the Hood. NERDZINTHEHOOD. We're going to get a link tree popping so that way everything is just in one pile and you can go to whatever website you need to. And just keep looking out for what we're doing. We got more in store. We're going to have some fun, y'all. Just getting started. But we are extremely enthusiastic people in the hood, a.k.a. Nerds in the Hood, with your boy, Marv Lack. Peace.